Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to chapter 19. I'm going to do a screencast again, showing you how to tackle these questions. These are just recap questions, really. What we've got here is chapter 19 revision route. I'll just zoom in a bit here. If we look at question 1, just sort my pen out here as well, get the red ink going. Over here, we've got 5 squares here shaded in, and you've got to express it as a fraction, a decimal, and a percentage. So hopefully you know by now that as a fraction, it'd be 5 out of 100. You could simplify even further. As a decimal, it would be 0.05. Okay, so if they're all shaded in, it would be 1. But because there's 5 out of 100 shaded in, it'd be 0.05. And as a percentage there, well, that would be 5%. Okay, going across then to question 2. Just turn my pen off so it doesn't make any marks there. It says, Sarah paints 25% of the fence and Manuel paints 35%. What is the percentage that's left to paint? Well, hopefully you know that if you add 25 and 35, you get 60. And therefore, what's left is going to be 40%, isn't it? So that's straightforward again. Going on to question 3 over here. Forget the pen going on again. So you've got here 50% of 120. All you've got to do is half it. So what they've done here is 120 divided by 2, which is 60. 50% of 0.6, again, just half it. That's going to be 0.3 there as well. Finding 1%. Now, what you've got to do to find 1% is just divide the number by 100. You're just going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 200, if you moved it to the left or knock off those 2 zeros, it would be 2, wouldn't it? And 1% of 8, if you move that decimal point 2 places to the left, okay, as you see here, it becomes 0.08. That's how you find out 1% there of those numbers. Question 4. These are all jumping around, these questions, aren't they? So I'm going to go question 5 here. There doesn't appear to be a number 4 on there. So for this one, over here, 20%, how do you find that out? 20% is the same as a fifth because there are 5 20s in 100. So you just divide 40 by 5, that's 8. Divide 10 by 5, that's 12. So remember, 20% is the same as a fifth. 25%, there are 4 25s in 100. So there, you just divide by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 4.8 is divided by 4 is 1.2. Good. What do we got next? How many euros is 6% of 200 euros? What they've done here is find out first what 1% is. Okay, so when you want to find out 1% of anything, you just divide the number by 100. Okay, and then you work it out from there. So if you know that, well, here they've kind of halved it. They've got 6 and then they've got 12. All right, and finally over here, number 8. How many meters is 40% of 500? So what you can do here, forget my pen, is when you've got a whole, like a multiple of 10, like 30, 40, 50, find out what 10% is first. So to do that, all we've got to do is divide it by 10, all right? You can move the decimal place, okay, to the right to find out what 50 is, and then times it by 4, okay? So here we've got 200 meters for that. All right, let's move on to the next bit. What percentage is 2 of 8? Well, that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You just find a quarter there, and that gives you 25%. What percentage is 4 of 50? Well, you know, if you double it, you'll find out the percentage anyway. It's 100. It's the same. 50 becomes 100, then 4 becomes 8, and that's 8%. Next one down, not necessarily doing these in the right order, but I'll just show you from my pen which one I'm covering. Here, what percentage is 20 of 10? Now, 20 is twice as big as 10, so when you actually do that, it's 200%. If it was 10 of 10, it would be 100%, but when it's 20 over 10, it's actually 200%, okay? 6 of 4 over 4, again, it's a bigger number. It's equal to 1.5. 1 is 100%, so 1.5 would be 150%. All right. Next, you've got 10. Manuel skis 12.8. Sarah skis 25% further. Find out what 25% is. You just divide by 4. I'll just get my pen going again here. There. And you can add that number on. Number 9, a pair of jeans costs €40, 20% discount. So 20%, remember, is the same as a fifth. So if you do 40 divided by 5, work out what that is, which is 8. And then take that from 40, you'll get 32. Okay. Next, going down the page, these are just straightforward calculator exercises. All you need to do for this is just get out your phone and work out what these are. So 9% of 300, what would it be? Then you've got, if you're using a calculator, you do 9% as 0.009 times 300. That's a quick shortcut you can do. And again, 8% would be 0.08 times 150. So you see these answers here, how they've kind of done it really to work that out. They're the answers there if you want to check through as you've done them. This one's a bit more complicated, this exercise. So this is one to look at how many buttons are there altogether. 50% are large. Of those, 50% are blue. 50% are large blue, have 2 holes, etc. So have a look at that one there. Then question 3, how many pearls are there altogether? So to give you this complex problem, 50% of pearls are wooden, then there's some are large, 80% of wooden are red, and then you work that out there and find out there are 120 pearls altogether. Finally, the homework exercise is there just to recap really. So you just work out percentages of these amounts on here. Those are the answers if you need to see for later on and check as well. Okay, and that's it. So thank you very much for that, and just give you a quick look again at the answers if you need to review. This is page 1. Pause the video if you need to. Page 2, page 3. Oops, page 4 skipped a bit. Where are we going? It's gone around a little bit mad. Okay, but I think you've seen that anyway. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll go back to X Recorder, and thanks for listening.